started with your questions.
Can you just give us a rundown of who will and will not be practicing?
Yeah. In the won't practice category will be Christian Benford, Jake Kumro, Jamison Crowder, Jordan Poyer, Tremaine Edmonds, Dawson Knox, Von Miller, Roger Saffold, Daquan Jones will be on vet rest days, and then Trey's situation. So
Trying to clarify, Von and Daquan are vet rest days?
Von, Daquan, and Roger Saffold, vet rest. I'm sorry?
The rest are not vet rest. Edmonds,
The rest are not. The rest are not.
What's your main deal?
Hamstring. He's got sore ribs right now.
Regarding Tre'Davious, obviously he's eligible to return to practice. Is that plan will he practice today?
No.
Josh Allen raves about Singletary every chance he gets. What is it about him that makes him so beloved by his teammates?
Devin, yeah, I mean, he just does. He's a team player. He's selfless in his approach, Jerry, and he does everything right. I mean, I know he put the ball on the ground this past weekend there, but he reset, and I think that's indicative of who he is as a person, as a player. You watch him hustle down the field when somebody else has the ball in their hand. You watch him in protection. So things when he doesn't have the ball in his hands, he takes a lot of pride in, which is important.
John, you did mention Isaiah. Is he in
Protocol.
protocol?
Yeah.
So given that situation, Crowder, is it problematic right now with wide receiver? What you dealing with that position?
Well, we have confidence in the next man up, whether it's Shakir or whomever at this point. And then I also, you guys didn't let me get to the limited list, which is Isaiah McKenzie's in the protocol, and then Jordan Phillips, Ed Oliver, and Justin Murray all limited today.
So, I mean, is it, I guess, possible that you've got three wide receivers in defense. You may have to dip into that this week?
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah. What is the situation with Gabe Davis? I mean, he played almost every snap the last 2 weeks, but it looks like his effectiveness is limited by the ankle. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would agree. And that sometimes happens when you're pushing through an injury, and I appreciate how he's pushed through. He's extremely mentally tough, and I think his best football is ahead of him.
John,
No. Yeah.
you guys have outscored opponents 6-3-7 after half, and even end of the first half, last few games have been good. What has it been about the success adjustment-wise that your coaches and players have made that has worked for you so far this year?
Yeah, to your point, I think the coaches have done a good job of communicating on the sideline and what they're seeing early in the game, and then adjusting through the remainder of the first half, in particular at halftime, and then the players have executed. So that's been a big factor for us.
Does it benefit you that you've got so many pieces, so many coaches that are familiar with each other? Does it make it easier to make those adjustments because of that?
To some extent, I mean, but I know the narrative early on was we had a number of new coaches, so I think I've been very impressed, I know, with the way that those guys, in particular on the offensive side, in this case, with the new coaches that we do have gained traction pretty quickly in that area. And that'll be important for us as we move forward week to week here.
You go from potentially facing a guy who, in terms of the opposing quarterback, who you'd be very familiar with, to a young guy. What do you see from Kenny Pickett, and what is the challenge of preparation when you're dealing with this situation?
Yeah, it looks like a good young quarterback. Had a good preseason. Played well when he got in the game the other day and was productive. So he looks like he knows what he's doing and how to function in that offense, and we have a lot of respect for him.
In 3 of the 4 games you guys have played that were tighter in score, Josh has been the leading rusher of the team every each one of those. How comfortable are you with that?
Yeah, I think it's listen, we're always going to do what we feel like we need to do to win, and so is Josh in this case specifically. Outside of that, big picture wise, it's important that we can develop an added dimension to our offense. And so, answer to your question is I'm not overly comfortable with that being the stat week to week or as much as it has been.
Every year is a new year, but has a talking point this week at all been how the Steelers came in here a year ago and beat you guys week 1?
Yeah, we're aware of that. They got a good football team. So last year was last year. This year they are a strong football team. They're extremely well coached. Got a veteran group on both sides of the ball, and and special teams as well. So it'll be a big challenge for us, and we got to get into our process today and take it one day at a time here. Yeah, I got to believe it's helped him, Catherine, just from the standpoint of familiarity with another guy on our team. Especially when you're a young player, you're looking for mentors. You're looking for people to kind of give you some of the hidden secrets, right, of how to do it right in this league and become a good football player. So I think that's helped, and I think that you watch those two; they have a good rapport, and they're both extremely tough young men, and they come from a very good college program over there at Pitt. Yeah, I think it speaks to just, again, what was alluded to a little bit earlier with the staff and continuity and people being around one another and being through some, sharing some experiences together. You just learn a lot about one another, and then you get to know someone a little bit deeper than just if you just met, a year ago or whatever.
What have you seen with Alex Highsmith? He's a guy that's had a nice impact along their line with Watt being out.
Yeah, extremely active player. He's had a great career to this point in his career. It's a young career, but plays intense. He'll move side to side, left side, right side. He does a lot for them. He's been very productive. I think he leads the league in sacks to this point in the year.
A lot of guys talked about how your passing game can almost be kind of like your running game with the short passes, things like that. Is that kind of how you see it when it comes to your running game?
I understand the analytical part of that. Like sometimes from a number standpoint, hit a short pass years ago. I learned that aspect when I was in Philadelphia. The short pass can be as good as a run, but I think there's a bigger picture as well that you have to keep in mind with that. That bigger picture. I don't want to get into strategy here, Jerry. I appreciate you asking though.
On a short week, if you had to adjust practice a little bit because of the injuries, a traditional week, are you doing anything to maybe soften it? Have you had to change anything because of the number of guys dinged up?
We're hanging right on that edge. Just to have a quality practice today, we'll try and be monitored as we go. And if we lose a guy or two during practice, then we're going to have to make a big time adjustment there. But right now, we're hanging right on that edge in terms of being able to put a quality practice out there. And sometimes the hardest thing is when you move people up, then it's the look team, right? You're not getting a good look, or you're having D linemen play O line just to give a look, and you've got receivers playing DB, and which tends to happen over the course of the season from time to time. It's just I applaud those guys who have stepped up in those roles, because it's not really always what they're paid to do. But again, that selfless approach goes a long way.
Start, but do you have to tweak anything knowing that Mitch has a pretty good handle on the offensive system here, or is that general idea overrated?
Yeah, we're aware of it. We have a lot of respect for Mitch, and I said this earlier in the week here. I mean, you talk about their, just class individuals and getting to know people around the league, and just we're better because Mitch was a Buffalo Bill last year, and he's a great person, great teammate, was a great teammate, and we want the best for him.
Thanks for Jordan's interception at the goal line, or in the end zone, last week. And can you just touch on how having the presence of mind to actually go after the ball and intercept it, to change the field position, not just knock it down because it was fourth down, and how much that might change the complexity of the game going forward?
Yeah, that was obviously a big play, good situational football by Jordan and the defense there. And so it was just good awareness overall to the situation, and that did have a big hand in, I think, in getting us off to the right foot on that drive to win the game.
What did you see from Khalil Shakir, and just when he had to come in last week, and how he was able to handle getting more responsibilities there?
Yeah, I think it's really, Heather, it speaks to the readiness of our young players, right? And so credit to them taking ownership of that, and Khalil in this case, and then the coaches having those guys ready. And you're seeing a lot of that around the league and in particular on our team early in the season, which is not always how you draw it up, but because of some of the bumps and bruises we've had, those players have to be ready. And it's someone new every week. And I think there's, going back to, Gabe's situation, how late it happened in the week, that week. And now it's who's it going to be next, right? So it's just a great message. Not always the easiest message, but a great teacher, if you will, to our young players or our players on practice squad of, hey, I may not be the starter to begin the week, but maybe I'm a primary backup. I got to be ready all the way through the start of the game. And then those practice squad players of, hey, don't get comfortable being in that role. Don't settle, stay up on what we're doing schematically and get yourself ready to go. And then also the physical conditioning of going from a practice squad role or a backup role to a full-time starter or backup. That's different. And they have to take ownership of their conditioning as well.
How is preparation different when you're facing a quarterback that you have so little experience of seeing him in the NFL?
Yeah, it's a little bit different. There's some unknowns, just because there's not a whole lot of sample out there. So you do the best you can, and you control what we can control, and we get ourselves ready to go.
Blocking has evolved over the last couple of weeks.
Run blocking for our offense. Yeah, I mean, I think we're getting better. Are we where we need to be yet? No, but I think yet is the key word. A lot of confidence in the guys in that room, and Coach Cromer, and sometimes it just takes time, and we're going to continue to work at it. And it is a point of emphasis. It is a focus of ours, but I'm confident in those guys, and it takes not just the blocking. It takes the detail of the blocking. It takes the detail of where the back is supposed to be. It takes 11 people to run the ball effectively in this league.
Matt Milano's a guy that you guys expect to do so many different things, whether it's in the run game, occasional blitz. What does he mean to this defense and what you have to do week in and week out?
Well, he means a lot. He really does. He's very active. He doesn't say a lot. He's a little bit more on the quieter side, and he just goes about his business of improving. He's got a burning desire to get better every week. He takes things personally, which I think is good at times because he takes on the challenge. And he's a big reason why our defense has been the way it's been over the last, 5-6 years, whatever it's been now. So that's been a great addition to our team.
Coming home this week, you've started on the road quite a bit in the early going. What challenges has that presented as opposed to maybe beginning a season with several home games going on the road to start the season?
I just want to make sure I understand your question, so I answer it the right way.
What type of challenges does it present starting with 3 out of the first 4 weeks on the road as opposed to maybe some home games early in the season?
Yeah, I mean, I'll just if I could, I'll just focus on the game this week being at home. I think that's good. We can get back into a home routine, maybe get a little bit more rest, which is also good, and not having to jump on a plane. But I think it's very, very important that we're in our process every day, starting today and handling our business today, seeing how we can grow as a team today. And I think that's all we can control right now. Good? All right, thanks, guys.